David Brewster here, new episode of 3 for All. This is 3 Frank Hannon and Tommy Skeoch licks from 1989, and we're going to talk about the band Tesla again. And technically I did feature Tesla in the first Scales and Tales episode. It's called Learn From Your Mistakes, and that surrounds their song Modern Day Cowboy. And there's also an acoustic-themed chord play episode where it's all acoustic guitar, but it features Tesla's music. Now both those lessons were posted on the channel about 3 years ago or more, so that's very early on the channel. I didn't have proper lighting. I didn't even really have the flow of these lessons together. That was very early on. So this look at some of Tommy and Frank's licks is long overdue. And technically Tommy left the band somewhere around 2005, 2006, and Dave Rude, stepped in his replacement. So Dave's been with the band for almost 2 decades now. But there's something really magical and special about the glory days, in the late 80s, early 90s with Tesla, and this dynamic duo of Frank Hannon and Tommy Skeoch. I mean, people are still talking about that today, which kind of proves how awesome that duo of guitarists actually was. So the licks in this lesson came from a live bootleg from 1989. I believe it was in New York, and probably just a camcorder, out in the crowd. But it was really cool to see, that footage from the same tour that I technically saw when I was a little kid. But, kind of revisiting that concert, yeah, I remember this, even though it was a different venue. And one thing about the licks in this lesson that's really going to help some of you out there is there's lots of feel and conviction and authority in these ideas from Tommy and Frank. And that's the big thing you're going to pick up, aside from learning some new licks. Maybe approaching these licks and really hitting, some feel, authority, conviction, that really energetic sound that you hear from both these players. And lots of other players too. But definitely, when we get to Frank's licks, you're going to really start digging in. So here we go. The first lick comes from Tommy, and this actually comes from the Modern Day Cowboy guitar solo. And there's this really cool phrased lick, and it kind of reminds me of Randy Rhoads. And I always like the phrase, even though it's pretty basic. But it does have kind of a Randy, influence. Something like this. One more time. Gotta get that squeal in there too. So think of A minor pentatonic right there, the box. What we're doing there is grabbing this. And I think that's the part that reminds me of Randy, because Randy would start phrases and sequences like that a lot. There it was again, kind of slower, and we're doing this. So you're grabbing that A to E and then pulling off G to E. And then you want to do a quick bend on this D to E. And then you're going to pick that E that's fretted right there on the B string. Something like that, so really slow. So after that opening phrase, then you're going to come down and end on that C right there. And then you want to go back up to that D, grab that E, and then come back down D to C. And when you end on that C, then you're going to grab that D, and that's where the pinch harmonic is. Like that. And after that kind of squealed, bent note, then grab that C and then A, G, C. And then that's where you got that G, 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 A, G. So really slow all the way through. A little faster. Cool lick, and I love that Randy Rhoads kind of connection there too. The next lick also comes from Tommy, and it's a tapping lick followed by an aggressive bending phrase, and this is from the Easy Come, Easy Go guitar solo. It's really cool. Something like this. One more time. Right there we're basically doing, and I'm using my middle finger to tap with, and you might have noticed I was just kind of waiting right here, with my pick kind of position ready to play. Because as soon as you do the tapping phrase, you're immediately jumping back, and then he's picking and doing the bending. So I normally, typically tap with my index finger, but here I'm actually tapping with my middle finger and keeping my pick in reserve, ready to play. So right there you're tapping E, and then you're going to pull off C to B on the B string right here. Do that 4 times, and then move to the next string, like move to the G string and move everything down a fret. So now tap B, and you're going to pull off that G to F sharp right there. And then do that 4 times, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Do the whole thing, twice, but do it 4 times, each set. And then right there, you're going to move back to this E, and then you're going to bend that up a whole step to F sharp. For some reason that part reminds me of Ace Frehley a little bit. Right there you're doing this. So you're bending it up with some vibrato, and then you're doing that kind of staccato, aggressive, fretted note, bent note, fretted note, bent note, where you're just kind of manipulating that E and F sharp. And then you're doing that kind of smoother, where you're bending it up and releasing it and then grabbing that D note and then doing it again like that. So that last part's really intense there with the bending. Lots of feel and conviction in there. So one more time here. Next up we got some licks from Frank Hannon, and Frank is a monster player, full of conviction and feel and this classic rock kind of blues bass style. Great guitarist for sure. Overlooked, unless you're a Tesla fan, you know him. But then most people on the street, they don't know Frank Hannon's name, but they should. He's a great player. And this idea is actually F sharp minor pentatonic bass. There's some blues scale, flat 5 action in there too. But this is a great way of practicing scales, and it's really different. Because you're not really just playing, straight up or straight down or whatever. You're adding all this extra energy and conviction and authority, when you're playing it. Like this. One more time. Tell I'm really digging in, and Frank is too in this footage. He is just knocking those notes out of the park, every single note, and that's a great way to really add some aggressive sound and this kind of feel to your playing for sure. So think F sharp minor pentatonic box right there, grab E, F sharp, and then grab that A with all sorts of attitude right there. Right there, he does the E to F sharp again, and then ends on this B and D sharp right there, a double stop. Right, and then do that E to F sharp again. Then you're going to grab the flat 5 right there, like this. And then come down that F sharp, blues scale. When you get back to that A, changes that to F sharp, dominant pentatonic. So F sharp dominant pentatonic, we've talked about that in other episodes on this channel. The Jeff Beck, soloing secrets, we talked about dominant pentatonics a lot. So right there, you're doing. The first time he came down to A, and then he grabbed that B, and then A sharp, F sharp to E right there. And I like that little twist at the end too. And don't just basically play that phrase, kind of boring like this. Don't do it that way. Put some energy into it. Pick, fret, dig in. next up is the next phrase from Frank's solo, and it's like this. One more time. And once again, like, put energy and conviction in there. You know, every note. You're starting on the C sharp. Right there, he's basically walking up, you know, after he grabs that C sharp, walks up, there's the F sharp blues, and then he also starts dipping into the F sharp hybrid pentatonic right there, you know, grabbing that D sharp like that. Right there. And then when you come back down, you're going to stop on that B note, and that's where he grabs this E and bends that up to F sharp like this. And right here, I love this, you know, kind of quick hammer or pull off in this bending phrase, but you're going to bend that up to F sharp, then you're going to grab F sharp and do a quick pull off E to C sharp right there. Like that. And then after that quick pull off, then grab this A and bend that up to B. And then you're just ending on that A, you know, kind of using some vibrato there. So really slow. And then one more time up to speed. So here's a bonus lick featuring Frank, and I realize this is technically lick number 5, so I've lost count and I'm giving you more than what I advertised, which I've mentioned this before. When is that ever a bad thing? You're getting more than what I advertised. You're getting 5 licks instead of 3. But this is really cool, and this is one of Frank's kind of signature or trademark, you know, just rapid fire pentatonic or hybrid pentatonic based licks, and he has a lot of these. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the clip first so you can see him just blaze right through this. But check this out. Okay, that's ridiculously fast. So let's watch that again, but we're going to slow it down. That way you can kind of hear what Frank's doing a little bit clearer. So here it is slowed down. All right, I'm not going to claim this is note for note, but it's pretty darn close, and it's something like this. Really challenging sequence. It's a finger twister too, and there's a lot going on, even though we're really not leaving a 1 octave, you know, area on the fretboard right there. It's kind of based around F sharp hybrid pentatonic, and we've talked about hybrid pentatonics before on this channel, but really slowly it's like this. It's just such an extended, you know, sequence that it may, you know, kind of be confusing as far as what that pattern is. So it's something like this. All right, and then right there you're kind of starting the pattern over. And then right there it's kind of weird the way he's coming down and then he starts climbing back up and then he starts the sequence again. So it's really strange. That's a very challenging sequence. It's a hard lick because, you know, it's a finger twister like I mentioned, but it's just really smooth and effortless, you know, the way Frank plays it. So it's obviously something he's practiced a lot. But that's a really wicked, you know, scale sequence. That's going to wrap got this look at 3 Frank Hannon and Tommy Skeoch licks from 1989, and that's another thing that I learned, from putting this lesson together. The proper way to pronounce Tommy Skeoch's name, because for, a long time, I always called him Skeoch. I didn't know you didn't pronounce the CH, but it's actually Tommy Skeoch. And when I noticed that, I thought, oh my gosh, how many times have I totally said the wrong name? I mean, thank goodness I never met Tommy and just said, yo, Skeoch, because he probably would have thrown something at me or been like, dude, that's not even my name. So I was, happy to finally, learn the proper pronunciation. I heard it, in some interviews and stuff with him. And I thought, oh no, I mean, that's, the important, research to do, because I didn't want to screw up somebody else's name on this channel. I've had a horrible track record of mispronouncing people's names or, cities or something. The words have to be easy sometimes, or my mind just creates this odd, pronunciation where it's like, okay, I don't know where that came from. But yeah, I used to call him Tommy Skeoch, but it's Tommy Skeoch. So anyway, and also if you're a Tesla fan, prepare yourself, because there's going to be a Tesla chord play episode following this, and we're totally going to rock out. No acoustic, all electric. So get ready for that. Anyway, leave some feedback and comments. Please subscribe to Lessons, and I'll be back before you know with more content and material. Thank you.